so we could get through this hour and everyone could get an equal share of the time involved here. And I think the first point that we've got up on the list is, what is gravity?
You want to go first, Dave, or you want me to go?
Oh, okay. This how we're doing this? Okay, so according to general relativity, it's the curvature of space-time around massive objects. And so this is one of the easiest ways to know that the Earth is a sphere, because everything we see, everything, including the Earth, right, very large, massive objects are crushed into a sphere. That's why stars, planets, moons, everything pretty much is spheres. So you can now go ahead and do your like electric gravity bullshit, and then I'll explain to you why it's stupid.
Well, the question is, does anybody any scientists or anybody that's ever proven that any of the luminaries we see in the sky are even physical, let alone spheres?
Yeah, we can see them in telescopes.
You can see them. So you believe that if you see something, that'll tell you its shape. So when I look at this, are these spheres?
Oh.
Are these spheres, Dave? Are these spheres?
Yeah, no, I've seen this little trick, and I know the third one from the left is flat.
It's showing you.
See, here's the problem.
One from the left is flat. Dave, let me give me a second, then you can go.
No, because I've seen you do this, because I watched 2 of your videos, and you say the same crap in every single one.
Right.
I know what these are. I know what these shapes these are.
So how do you know what shape the moon is? How do you know that the moon is even a physical object? Because during a new moon, no one sees the moon in the sky.
I know your talking points. So the reason, this works because that's not moving. The things in the sky move. So if you take the third one from the left, which I know is flat, and you move it around, it's going to start to change shape. Right? If the moon was a flat disk, I don't even know if that's one of your talking points or not. As it passed over you, it would change shape. It would distort.
I don't think the moon is a flat disk at all.
Okay, so it doesn't matter though. That's why what you're saying is stupid, because these objects do not move. Now, the other problem is it's not just about shape, it's about other things like composition. Do you know what spectroscopy is?
Well, here's the thing. I would like to get off of the lights in the sky because I'd rather talk about the shape of the Earth.
Because they destroy the flat Earth?
Well, you say that, but the lights in the sky have nothing to do with the flat Earth.
Okay, so this was my first talking point. Were we going to do the talking points that we prepared? Because my first talking point is about this, and it is an absolute annihilation of flat Earth. That's why you don't want to talk about it. That's why you say, why do we look at the things in the sky to figure out the shape of the Earth? Because that's how we figured it out 2,000 years ago, by looking at the stars. Can I show my slide that shows this?
Go for
okay, here we go. Observation of the stars. Next one. You're controlling it, right? Do I just tell you when to go? Okay, so if you're in the northern hemisphere looking at the North Pole, then hang on, all this stuff is covering. I can't even see the text. I think I remember what it says. Anyway, if you're looking at the North Pole in the northern hemisphere, the stars rotate counterclockwise. Go to the next one. If you are in the southern hemisphere looking at the South Pole, the stars rotate clockwise. Next one. How does this make sense on a flat Earth? Sorry, this is a screenshot from one of my videos. So in the video, they're rotating in different directions. Why would 2 people on a flat pizza land look at the sky and see a sky that is rotating in different ways? Next one. And furthermore, why can't we all see the same stars? There are stars that you can only see in the northern towards the northern hemisphere, and stars you can only see in the southern hemisphere. Next one. On a globe, this makes perfect sense. If you're in the northern hemisphere looking at the North Pole, east is to your right. If you are in the southern hemisphere looking at the South Pole, east is to your left. Next one. And the reason we can't see certain stars is because you can't see through the Earth. Next one. That's why in the northern hemisphere we can't see the Southern Cross. That's why in the southern hemisphere we can't see Polaris. Next one. Almost done. Quick one here. So it actually gets a lot worse than that in the southern hemisphere, because you've taken a globe and you've unwrapped it. The southern hemisphere makes absolutely no sense. People in the southern hemisphere who are all looking at the Southern Cross are somehow supposed to be, we're believing that they're all looking in completely different directions and seeing the same object often at the same time. Next one.
And then you think that we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour and we don't feel it, and we're changing, we're changing directions. How is that possible? How about when the Earth comes around towards the sun in the winter, in our northern winter, it's speeding up and taking its sharpest turn, and then we don't feel any of those
It's
forces?
sharpest turn. Okay, so this one's really hilarious to me. So the sun goes around the Earth, or sorry, the Earth goes around the sun in how long? How long does it take?
A year?
A year, right? So why don't you go ahead and get in a car and do a 360 turn and make it take a year? Are you going to feel that?
Dave, that's not a
Let's
fair-
break it down. 360 degrees, 365 days, that's about a degree a year, right? Why don't you get in a car and drive for 24 hours and over 24 hours veer by 1 degree? Are you going to feel that?
That would be equivalent to this. People say, "Oh, I'm just trying to think of the easiest way."
I'm just trying to
describe
think
it.
of something to say
Hey,
that
Dave,
will make
stop-
sense.
Stop being a dick.
Edge, and therefore it shouldn't be able to illuminate very much of the Earth. But in the southern hemisphere, in like December and January, you've got regions like towards the southern ends of those continents that are almost day almost all day. So you've got 19, 20 hours of daylight. So you've got this sun that's traveling around way out towards the edge, because this is how you like to do it. And it is somehow illuminating almost all of the outer regions of your pizza world. And yet it is somehow not illuminating the center, because areas towards the North Pole have 24 hours of night at that time. So unfortunately, you can't do the like Antarctica isn't real, so the South Pole, that's not a thing. These are places where people
we don't
live.
say Antarctica is
And,
not real. We don't say that at all. You say
no,
that.
you say the South Pole isn't real,
We don't.
even though there's people who go there and work there. And
people work at the South Pole.
yeah,
Yeah, prove it. Okay. So
you can get a job there. Did you know that civilians
so-
can get jobs?
So the way it
You
works,
should apply for one. I think that'd be a cool video for you to do.
Dave, on your upside down world, on your ball world, in the north, Norway and northern Alaska, we have the 24-hour sun in June. Okay, and we see the sun, and it's been filmed by millions of people, and you can watch the sun circle around. Makes perfect sense on a ball. Makes perfect sense on flat Earth. We're on the same page there. But 12 months,
Yeah,
6
not
months,
really, but
6 months
But
later. 6 months later, at equal
Yeah.
southern latitudes, you should see the same. But there's no video
Yeah, you
of
do.
the. No, you don't. There's no video of the 24-hour sun. There's 3 or 4 fake videos, clearly
Yes.
fake, taken apart. I'm talking, right? I didn't interrupt you. And there's no 24-hour sun. The sun antarcts away from you. It comes towards you and it goes away.
Okay.
Unlike the Arctic where it's circling around. I'm still talking. Okay. And there's no 24 hours of daylight. But if you add a dome in there, and again, we're looking at the lights in the sky, which is something that doesn't prove either. When you bring the sun closer to the dome, it wraps around, and we could show you this, get a dome, get a glass, move the light, and you'll see that the light wraps around, and that's exactly what we see in Antarctica.
Okay, so I mean, first of all, a lot of what I do, I do mainly academic tutorials, but I also address misinformation. I'm very passionate about public science literacy and science denial, and flat Earth is the bottom of the barrel. So I go after like anti-vaxxers and stuff like that, and that is a little more sophisticated. And you have to actually understand a little bit of biochemistry, a little bit of immunology, and things like that. Flat Earth is the only one. I just proved the Earth is a sphere multiple times in this exchange based on looking at things in the sky and thinking. That's how we figured out the Earth is a sphere several thousand years ago. It's like the first thing we figured out. So this is why it's so offensive, because it is a denial of literally all of science. Astronomy, all wrong. Geology, all wrong. Physics, all wrong. It's so unbelievably offensive to the entire human race. That's why you're a douchebag, and me calling you stupid is nowhere near the magnitude of douchebaggery that is your entire identity.
You're talking to him, not me, right?
Sorry, yeah, to Davey boy over there.
So he believes that scientists that he never met 2,000 years ago proved that the Earth is a globe, when in reality, in the 1940s and 50s and up to the early 60s, they were still teaching flat Earth in public school here.
No, they weren't. That's just a thing you're saying.
That's
There's globes from hundreds and hundreds of years ago. You can't just say that. Like, you should show me something. Show me a textbook. You can't just say, oh, this thing I made up is true. You're an idiot. What are you talking about? We've known the Ptolemaic model, which reigned supreme from 100 or whatever, to the Copernican model, used a spherical Earth. Geocentrism used a spherical Earth. And then Copernicus and Kepler happened. And they wrote books, by the way. They wrote books, and you can read them, that they exist.